Hey, what's happening, gamers? How's everybody doing? Hopefully, you guys having a fantastic night. Welcome back to Multiversus. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell. So later tonight, probably is going to be Banana Guard. But just a little heads up for you guys. This is going to be the Rift video as the Joker. Rather, the Batman Who Laughs. This will not be the Killing Joke thing because my PayPal is 0. I'm not having my PayPal bounce because I get paid from the O1 channel in 2 days, and then we'll be looking at Killing Joke. But in the meantime, we can do 2 Joker skins. We can do the Batman Who Laughs. We can do the whatever it is, the Charming Crime Prince, as well as we can do Beach Babe Wonder Woman. So there's a couple options for streams this week, but I have to wait to do Killing Joke because I can't do it right now. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize our online currency. But Banana Guard should be unlocked now. Yeah, there he is. Log in one more day. There's Banana Guard. Ha ha! Winning. And Amber said, you might unlock somebody. Yes, Banana Guard will be later tonight. And Banana Guard will be the online stream where I play online with you guys, community stream-wise, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to be focusing on the next chapter of the Rift. The Rift is an important part of the game because you can unlock all kinds of cool stuff. Earn Gleamium, earn all that other stuff. Plus, it's kind of like the story mode of the game. So we're going to continue with Velma, I believe, today. There's Banana Guard. In the store, you still have this really lame Shaggy skin, which I do not like. So I'm not going to purchase this because I don't really see any reason to. I don't like this Shaggy skin. He's $19. You get 1,000 Gleamium. You get whatever this stuff is. I don't even know what this does. Fighter currency. So you can fighter currency, 6,000 fighting currency to unlock a fighter. The Killing Joke is 1,700 Gleamium, so it's going to take a while. I have a couple days though. He's a Killing Joke Joker will leave the store in 8 days, so I'll probably get him June 1st.
Those are our main things that people have requested so far.
Bugs versus Joker, Harley versus Joker, Jason Undead versus Superman, Jason versus Joker, okay. Jason versus Shaggy, Velma versus Shaggy.
Oh yeah, and one more. They wanted to see Joker versus the Man Who Laughs, or whatever.
Joker versus the Man Who Laughs. Okay.
Regular Joker versus...
Alright, those are all good.
The... whatever it is. A lot of Joker,
You just got the Battle Pass? Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Joker or whatever will be, this skin will be in a couple days, once I get paid. Because we almost broke our online currency last night. I was like, oh, did I really spend like $25? Yes, I did. Oops. You have Space Jam ones. This is cute. I probably will do this one when I get paid too. From the O1 channel. I love this. This is the Space Jam ones. So you've got. It's not a bundle though. It is a bundle. I think. Yeah. Space Jam Slam Dunk bundle for 1,900 Gleamium. You get. The Toon Squad. This is the newer costumes, though. So you get Taz, Bugs, and Martian the Manhunter. Yes, Martian Manhunter. I confused him with the other guy. With Martian Manhunter. Marvin the Martian! Ah! Okay, and then we have this lady. Which I thought I already had her skin. Yeah, it already says I have her skin. Oh wait, no I don't. I hated that emote in the beta. Whenever I played against characters like her, they'd laugh at me. I hated that. Really no interest in getting the Finn skin, to be honest. I won't be spending money on that. I'm mostly like a DC superhero type guy, so.
what does the Finn one look like?
The Finn skin is green.
Oh, don't we already have Finn though? Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not spending like.
I would if it looked really cool. It's just all green.
No. You have to remember the costumes have to look good for us to do stuff with it.
Yeah, because it costs money.
Like this Bugs costume, totally, I would do that because that's Conductor Bugs.
Yeah, that actually looks good.
Yeah.
The all green fin, I'm not a huge fan of.
No, I don't really see a reason to. These are recommended for you, and remember, you can earn Gleamium and stuff. I believe you don't have to just buy it, but
so
Gleamium
what is the
gets expensive.
What did the Harley one look like again, Luke?
The Harley one that I'm not doing.
Or whatever. Yeah.
This is this one. It's called Harley Quinn Havoc. I don't know.
How is that different from our usual one?
It's not. They just did like a little pink like thing to it.
Oh, it just has a pink.
It's probably a Valentine's thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. We already did the Prestige one, so we got Beach Harley Quinn, and we got the Man Who Laughs.
What did Beach Harley Quinn look like?
Beach Harley?
Oh, what's that one where she has the polka dot thing?
This is Beach Harley.
Oh, I would love to see Beach Harley versus Beach Wonder Woman.
We could do a thing of that.
I'll put it in the video. I'll put it in our video.
I don't have a cutout of her, so I'll have to make the cutout. So I just took the picture, so I'll do a cutout of her later.
Wife request.
Wife request, yeah, so that'll be a versus request. That'll be fun. That'd be great if they had a beach stage, but they really don't. They don't have like a fun in the sun level.
I also want to get Beach Taz in the action.
We do have Beach Taz somewhere. But I will definitely be doing a video on the Toon Squad or the Space Jam ones.
Oh, cool.
You get all three of these. Marvin.
Oh,
Bags,
cute.
And so all three skins. That's worth it to me. 1900 for that is worth it. 1900 Gleamium. We'll be doing Killing Joke Gleamium later this week. He'll be first, and then on the weekend will be this one, the Space Jam. How many days do we have for Space Jam? It should tell us. No, I don't care. How many days for Space Jam? 20% off. It doesn't tell us when. So its regular price is $2,400. That makes more sense because 1900 Gleamium. You can see the Gleamium prices. 1,000 Gleamium is $10. 2,000 Gleamium is $20. So, it's the costumes add up. Anyway, let's get into the rift today.
I'm grinding the rifts for rewards, says Later Gator.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, Later Gator. I just like the video, says Hedgehog Soda.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Where is Joker?
Which one did we say was lame? I don't think we said any. Or maybe I did. We may do. We did online last night. I don't know if we might have time at some point during the stream.
There's 2 streams.
So
There's 2 Multiversus streams.
We're doing 2 streams today. So if we don't get a chance to do online in this stream, we're doing a stream after this.
Yeah, Banana Guard is all online.
Yeah, we'll be doing online in the next stream, definitely.
Yeah, we got Banana Guard. But I even set it up. Did you guys not see it up? I made the thumbnails myself. Like, Beach Velma or Honolulu Velma is pointing at the Banana Guard. I thought that was really clever.
It's cute.
Yeah, that's for 10 o'clock at night tonight.
Did we ever do Shaggy versus Velma?
Yeah.
Is there any way we could do it again? Because we have another request for it. Can we do it again with different costumes? Or
yeah, that's fine. I have Chuck Norris Shaggy, and we can do Beach Velma, or whatever.
That'd be cute.
Well, Beach Velma hasn't come out yet. There's all kinds of things that were leaked that I'm going to be talking about once we get into the Rift. But we're doing this Joker today.
Well, I am busy plotting my escape, but I'm a multitasker. What's going on? Oh, I've got room in my plans for you. How do you feel about sacrifice?
That's Roger Craig Smith, so that's Arkham Origins Batman.
Well, I am busy plotting my escape, but I'm a multitasker. What's going on?
See? That's
oh my god.
Yeah, that is
It's actually quite creepy.
Yeah, so every once in a while we will be doing the rifts. Joker rift we completed. This is Rift Detectives. And then in 4 days, we'll be doing the Jason versus the Multiversus rift. Which, the rifts actually have these really cool cutscenes. Like at the start of them. Which is kind of neat. I like that. But you only get to see them once. I don't know what happens to after you see the cutscenes if they ever play again. I don't think they do. I think it's a one-time thing. You can also go... They want you to go through the rift multiple times so that you earn more rewards. so the difficulty
yeah.
increases as you go. But again, I'm not the greatest at multiverses. I'm a person that tends to, when I'm online, I get carried by people. But this is the daily rewards today are in this rift, so this is the rift we're going to be going into.
I'm just here for your melodious voice and Batman knowledge.
My melodious voice. Yeah, we're going to be talking about leaks, though, guys.
Thank you for the super chat, Max. You're breathtaking. Says, let the chaos and insanity begin with Joker and the Batman who laughs, says Max. Also, there's a stream mode in settings. Streamer mode, you mean like that helps with copyrighted music, Max?
Okay, I'll look into it.
Okay, thank you, Max.
It's in the sound settings or somewhere else?
He said it's in settings. Thank you, Max. You're breathtaking. Hope you're having a wonderful day, Max. Thank you so much. Wish I could stay, but I'm working right now, so farewell for now.
No worries.
Farewell, Max. Thank you so much.
There goes streamer mode on. Okay. Save changes. Well, we'll see if that does anything. Okay, on to the Detective Rift. Let's go!
Have a good day at work, Max. Thank you so much.
So in our last episode of the Rift, what happened was Joker escaped through the Rift and said that the bad guy, this little guy here, stole something important to the heroes and we have to chase after him. And then we have all this to do.
Oh, wow.
Whoops. Okay, he's happy about that. We have all this stuff to do. And then we can, because the Jason Voorhees one we'll be doing in 4 days from now.
Audio and language, says Later
Yep,
Gator.
I got it.
Oh, okay. You guys got it.
And we're doing Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah, we didn't say the... Yeah, we weren't saying the skin... Yeah, exactly. Like, we weren't... I mean, I don't know. Maybe I said it was kind of lame for the price. I'm not saying, like, I don't think Finn is lame.
No,
lame.
she was talking about the costume.
I don't like how it's all green. Like, maybe if I was a super fan of the show and I knew what that costume was from, maybe I'd be more interested in it. But for me, as someone who's just like a DC fan, it's not something I want. Maybe I should have rephrased it. Sorry if I was offensive at all.
It's $20 for that skin.
Yeah, $20 for an all green skin. I'd rather have something else.
All right, Dinkley. If you really want to prove you're the best detective, then let's see who can track down Stripe first. Velma.
Oh, you're on, Batman. Just don't come crying to me when I win.
Gah!
Don't forget you can equip gems to help in rifts do triangle, says Later Gator.
Let's get this started.
Okay.
Yep, thanks for Later Gator for clarifying what I was saying. Did I see your comment?
Excuse me. On a scale of 1 to devastated, how embarrassed will you be when I beat you?
Oh, we have big head mode.
Yeah, Game Wing says, Lady Banana is another character you earned, Luke.
Cool. Yeah, I don't like streaming mode. I'm much happier just like turning off the music or turning off the sound when we get to like that one stage that's a copyright nightmare, because the entire game is not gonna get you copyrighted. It's the levels with what's his name, because what their streamer mode does is it turns off the music completely. Like whenever you go into stages, it completely turns off the music. I don't like that. So after this match, I'm gonna fix it. But thank you for letting me know about streamer mode. Appreciate that. Boink.
Match point for blue team.
Match point for blue team.
I mean, yeah, you could ask a question. I can't always answer every question, but you can ask one, Raspberry. If Ghostbusters is made by Warner Brothers, I'd love to see them, says Victor.
They are not made by Warner Brothers. They're a Sony thing. Columbia Pictures made Ghostbusters.
Okay, thanks, Luke.
Yep.
RJ Williams says the banana is OP.
The reason why Ghostbusters appeared in whatchamacallit? The reason why Ghostbusters appeared in Lego Dimensions is because they paid for the license. That's all.
I'm not hidden in a bat suit. I am far, far more.
It's so creepy to hear Roger Craig Smith.
Creepy.
Oh my god.
What's your favorite Batman the Animated Series episode? Says Raspberry.
My favorite Batman the Animated Series episode? I like several. I don't have a favorite. I like a lot.
Yeah, mine is Robin's Reckoning. That's my favorite episode.
Quick, grab him! Gah! He got away. Quick, follow him. Okay. We're turning off streamer mode because I don't
I'm
like
trying
it.
to grind Fighter currently to get Batman. Oh, because it doesn't have any music.
Yeah, streamer mode completely turns off the music. So what I'm gonna do is when we get to
we'll
that,
just have it somewhat quiet.
no, there's only one stage.
There's only one stage that has a problem with the music.
There's only one stage that'll get your video like either blocked or have it content ID, and that is the stage for Rick and Morty. Because they use the Rick and Morty theme. Dun, 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 dun,
Well-
dun, 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 dun. See, whereas every fighting level, like every stage in this game, like the Powerpuff Girls is an arrangement that like uses half the theme and it does original stuff. The Batman stage does a mixture of the Tim Burton or the Danny Elfman and the Batman the Animated Series theme, but it also does its own stuff. For whatever reason, the Rick and Morty thing is like the full theme, like the entire time. It's not like where the music goes all over the place and then it does a little bit of the theme, like as kind of like an echo or something like that, or just like a nice little motif. It's like the entire stage of Rick and Morty is their theme song, or it is one of their themes
like a
that the
main
composer
theme.
did. Yeah. So it will get you either your video blocked,
It's almost like
or get you content ID.
The content ID system is picking it up as if you're watching the TV show.
Yeah, actually, it's listed the episode where it's from. Because I have, if you go back to Rick and Morty episodes, or Rick and Morty streams that I did, they are content ID, and it says the name of the song. I have never received a content ID for any of the other stages in Multiverse. It's only Rick and Morty.
All right. Well, what are your top 3 Batman the Animated Series favorite episodes then, Luke?
Mine? I don't know if I can do
yours.
top 3, but I'll name some. The Heart of Ice, Almost Got Him, Robin's Reckoning, The Demon, Part 1 and 2, Night of the Ninja, I Am the Night, Perchance to Dream, The Laughing Fish is really funny, Christmas with the Joker, Shadow of the Bat, Two-Face Part 1 and 2, Clayface Part 1 and 2, Man on Leather Wings is really good. I really liked On Leather Wings. It has fantastic music. Da, 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 and they're flying around, and Batman, it's one of the only episodes where Batman actually has blood on his face. It's like the only one that got past the censors. Well, because Batman and Kirk like slam into a billboard. And so they both take like battle damage. It's like one of the only episodes where Batman actually has battle damage. That it can
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Heart of Ice and Almost Got Him.
I love Almost Got
You
Him.
always say Heart of Ice and Almost Got Him. But yeah, all the
Be
other
a Clown is good too. Like there's only 10 episodes of the animated series that aren't very good. There's only 10. And they were weird episodes.
Oh, thank you, Raspberry. You're so kind. Raspberry says, personally mine is, Raspberry was asking us, personally mine is Night of the Ninja and the Day of the Samurai.
Do you want to know why I like Night of the Ninja so much? Is because Kyodai Ken is a guy who beats Batman, right? Dick shows up, and he's not afraid of the ninja at all. And the guy's like, isn't it past your bedtime, boy? And Dick's in college.
Yeah.
So, the ninja's like, he completely underestimates Robin, and Robin gets a great kick right to his face. And it's like, I still remember my dad's reaction. You know my dad's laugh. So we're there watching the episode live for the first time.
Yeah.
And, Robin has this great one-liner, and Dad's like, there's no way Robin's going to be able to handle Kyodai Ken because Batman was losing to him. And Robin gets a great, sidekick right to Kyodai Ken's face. And then Kyodai Ken is like, enough, boy, this isn't the movies, and he takes out his sword. And Robin dodges the sword.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but...
And your dad did martial arts, so
Yeah.
that must have been really interesting for him
Yeah,
to
it was.
watch.
But I'll always remember my dad's laugh, for as long as I live, because,
Yeah, your dad has a fun laugh.
he wasn't expecting Robin to get a great hit off the ninja when, you know, Bruce Wayne was getting his butt kicked by Kyodai Ken. It was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome, Luke.
It's a great like Robin episode, but also it's a really good like a Bruce Wayne episode because he's mostly Bruce Wayne in the episode because he's you know, Bruce Wayne is kidnapped by Kyodai Ken. It's a great episode. In fact, I was always wondering why Kyodai Ken never showed up in the comic books. He's exclusive to the animated series. Like,
oh wow!
He's only in 2 episodes.
So Raspberry is also a fan of that episode. And Raspberry said, "Thank you for being so kind on you too. Also, I aspire to be like you both."
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Raspberry. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for being kind on YouTube, Raspberry. Appreciate that.
Thank you for the gifted membership.
Thank you for the
Justo
gifted
Kenobi.
membership.
And happy birthday.
Happy birthday! It's Justo Kenobi's birthday, guys.
Yep, everybody wish Justo a happy birthday.
Thank you, Justo. I love hearing the stories so much as Raspberry. He loves hearing the stories about you and your dad watching that.
Picking up strange readings on both these paths, but which one to take? Velma.
Looks like it's time for this detective showdown to really kick it up a notch. As my friend Fred likes to say, let's split up.
Gang.
Jinkies.
Okay, so we can fight Joker, Black Adam, and do a Batman Superman rumble, which would be interesting. Or we can fight Wonder Woman, Batman, and Rick and Morty. Do a minigame and fight bugs. Don't really want to deal with Rick and Morty as much as I'd love to fight Wonder Woman. We're gonna fight Joker because you know Batman Who Laughs versus Joker is actually kind of fun. So this is the Detective Rift. Detective Rift. And like I said, guys, if you don't like playing online, you can replay the rifts over and over again. They have 4 difficulties. So you can continue to improve your skills before you go online. And you can actually play the rifts with a friend. So you could bring a friend into the game, and you two could go through and play the rift together on harder difficulties if you wanted to. So what I love about Multiversus now is it has layers to it. So it had a local player mechanic that was added later that Amber and I showcased as soon as it happened, and we loved it. I don't like the fact that right now we can't use anything other than team colors. I don't like that. So I hope they fix that. Because Amber's thing, you don't have
when the beta, they used to be able to somehow to get the team colors off. I don't know if... And we could just play without team colors. Right now, on our Versus episode, if you guys didn't see, we had a Versus episode go up at noon. You guys can go to the channel page on Kwingsletsplays and check that out. It was
Batman versus Joker.
Yeah, Batman versus Joker. And basically, Batman has a red overlay over him. Like, he has a red color wash over him. So basically, yeah, that's very frustrating. I hope we can figure out a way to take that off. We struggled with that in the beta, and then someone showed us a way to get that off. Yeah. What we did was we turned the teams off, but I don't think it has a way to turn the teams off anymore.
No.
So that's frustrating. And I was just thinking of something else that I don't remember what it was that I was going to say.
Oh, that's a bigger... I think that's a bigger character model. Like, no, it really isn't. That's the same size.
Are you going to check on your gems that you can use during the thing? It says later, Gator, you can press triangle to use gems.
No.
He doesn't want to use the gems right now. Thank you so much
I'm
going to
save the gems for the Jason Voorhees thing in a few days because that's going to be rough. I can't believe you let that little scale stain get away. Did you see which way it went? Why would I tell you? You'll just let him get away again.
Yeah, later Gator says, I noticed that Batman was red entirely. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, Raspberry said, so is this like Smash Bros combined with Injustice, like with the characters for Injustice with Smash Brothers fighting?
What do you mean?
Like, he's saying like the character roster of Injustice, but then the gameplay of Smash Brothers.
No, there's not that many DC characters. You have Aquaman coming.
You have a few
You have
DC.
Raven coming. But you have Joker, Harley, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. There's Superman. There's 5. There's 5 DC characters currently. You will have Aquaman got leaked, and Raven got leaked 2 years ago. So you will have Raven, and you will have Aquaman, and then it'll be 7 DC characters. But for the most part, you're going to have a lot of Warner Brothers characters. Powerpuff Girls is coming, Samurai Jack is coming, Daffy Duck is coming. Whether or not we know it's, Duck Dodgers, or if it's just actually Daffy, no one really knows. I hope it's Duck Dodgers.
You're hoping for Duck Dodgers. I'm hoping for Daffy.
You're hoping for Daffy.
I love Daffy Duck.
You like Daffy after that Looney Tunes show.
No, I've always been a fan of Daffy
Oh, you were
Duck.
always... Okay.
I've always been a fan of him. He's always hilarious. He's really funny. I loved him in with Duck season versus Rabbit season. He's adorable. And I loved him in the Looney Tunes show even more. Yeah, definitely. That made me love Daffy even more. But I've always liked Daffy. He's a lovable jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? You want me to say everything I like is from stuff you had me watch with you. I've always liked Daffy Duck.
That's okay. So the reason why I say Raven is coming in, there's I listened to the Samurai Jack and the Aquaman voiceover for this game. Phil Lamar is playing both Samurai Jack and Aquaman, and Samurai Jack comes across a witch.
Oh, wow.
And he, specifically a witch that's using magic. So a lot of people are leading to believe either he's talking about the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz, or he's talking about Raven.
Yeah, it could be Raven.
I think it's Raven because the Teen Titans stage is coming. Okay, fine. I saw some of his horrid little footprints going this way. I hope they aren't allergic to ghosts. This path is chock full of them. Okay. So we're going to be fighting Taz next.
I hope they had Roger Rabbit, says Raspberry. At some point.
Taz scared of ghosts. Taz fight everyone.
Raven from Teen Titans or Raven from Teen Titans Go, says OH.
It'll be Teen Titans Raven. The DC characters are going to have, whatever you see this design for, Joker and stuff like that. Also, we know that the animated series Joker skin is coming. So, both Harley and Batman have animated series skins. Joker will be getting an animated series skin either at Season 2 or Season 3. People are really speculating that both Samurai Jack and Raven will be coming and being added to the game Season 2 or 3. So, Raven is definitely coming soon.
I would say, though, if you're describing this game to people that know Smash Brothers.
It's Smash Brothers.
It is Smash. Yeah, it is like Smash Brothers gameplay. So I would say that is accurate. Just like the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. This game, Smash Brothers, have similar gameplay. Of course, Smash Brothers is the most superior, but this is pretty well done.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, this game, if I was being completely honest, this is the best Smash Brothers clone of all time. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl was a step in the right direction for a Smash Brothers clone, but Multiversus, after all the polish they did over the past, 14 months or however long it's been since the game went off the air, I believe the game ended November of 2022. Because Amber and I, when we were playing local play in December, the server wasn't on anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think, it would be good if Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and this one kept both continuing, because I think they've been helping each other to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the competition between them, because when we were playing Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl recently, we were like, well, I don't know what's happening with Multiversus. Looks like Nickelodeon is stepping it up. They were adding new characters, they're adding new stages. The game is actually fun, and, at that point, Multiversus wasn't really doing much, so I was rooting for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl versus this one. But then when this one came back, the biggest improvement, I think, and is my opinion, is bringing the characters forward so they're larger. That's one thing I felt about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl that they did well, was sometimes you could see the characters better than Multiversus. So, like, now Multiversus has seen their, larger characters and added more. So now Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is probably going to have to step it up. But, I mean, they both have great character rosters. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and this one. They both, I enjoy playing both of them. The one that's kind of far behind in the dust is the Ubisoft one or whatever it was. The one that had Ubisoft characters.
What was the name of the Ubisoft one?
That one was kind of left in the dust. Like, that one was fun, but I feel like these are really good. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl and this one are a lot of fun.
Yeah, because that was a decent Smash clone too. What was the name of the Ubisoft
It was pretty good,
game?
but the character models were small in that one too, which was a problem.
Yeah, the character models were...
The biggest improvement I feel like is making the character models bigger for this one. That's what I feel.
Who dares? This throne room may be infested with ghosts, but it is still mine, says Black Adam.
Yeah, thank you, Later Gator. Says exactly, Amber. I appreciate that, Later Gator.
Let's get this started.
I'm always going to have Kevin as an announcer. I'm never getting rid of him.
I think, like, if Daffy did come in and it wasn't Duck Dodgers, I think, that Duck Dodgers should at least be one skin of him.
I could see them adding Beetlejuice, because Beetlejuice has a movie coming out this year. Like, and if they got Michael Keaton to play Beetlejuice, that would be amazing. But I think the Beetlejuice voice actor, the original, is still alive.
Yeah.
I think the guy who played Beetlejuice on the 80s cartoon that lasted longer than the movie,
Yeah.
I think he's still alive.
I think, like, the biggest difference between, like, this and Injustice is the feel of the characters. Like, it has more of a Smash Brothers feel to it because the characters are more cel-shaded or whatever, but, also, the Injustice was made by the people making Mortal Kombat, so it had a completely different feel to the game, where, it's supposed to be really adult-oriented, and, a claw coming through somebody's chest, ripping through them and stuff. I think in this game it's more like general audience, so the moves aren't going to be as violent as
this is T-rated.
Okay, but okay.
Smash Brothers is T-rated too, but this game, I would say this game would be more T-rated than.
Yeah, I feel like Injustice, it would be more violent moves that they're doing against each other.
I am far, far more.
Oh my gosh, it's creepy. Creepy voice. Okay. Moving on.
See, I wouldn't have guessed this is teen rated.
Yeah, it is.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, there is some violence in this.
Yeah, but I mean, it's fine. It's not that bad. So the game wants you to go through and replay stuff over and over again.
Duck Dodgers of the 24th and a half century, says Sammy Bear King.
So, there you go, Amber. Wonder Woman.
I hear Batman has proclaimed this to be a detective showdown to find Stripe first.
Mm-hmm.
It's so oddly charming when he gets competitive.
Yay, Wonder Bat, let's go! Uh-oh. Okay, so we're gonna have to turn this off.
Let's get this started.
Let's get this started in here. Okay. So this is the stage that'll get you copyright claimed.
I'll look it up.
It
was Brawlhalla, says Sammy Bear
Brawlhalla,
King.
yeah.
Thank you,
that's it.
Sammy.
That's it,
Appreciate
that's it.
that.
Yeah.
I think Ubisoft has the potential to do just as well.
Ubisoft has become mostly like using licensed characters, so it has Street Fighter in it. It's got Ninja Turtles and all kinds of stuff. In fact, I remember we did play it for a while so we could get the Ninja Turtles and Street Fighter characters. But then we never touched it again.
Yeah, I don't know if I guess this video isn't sponsored by Warner Brothers, so I can say I can speak freely. But so I feel like with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, one of the best things they did was having the Shadow Realm thing, added there. Some of the fan favorite Nickelodeon characters, I think, really made the game really fun. Like, back to the Shadow Realm with you and stuff like that. That was really fun. They added some really funny, and fan favorite characters, which I really liked.
Yeah. But let's talk about some cool stages that are coming. So they have confirmed through the data mining that Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th will be added into the game. So Jason is getting a stage at a later time. No idea what is going to be happening in Crystal Lake, but maybe we'll see like campers running for their lives in the background. that will probably be a very very copyrighted stage, like the Rick and Morty stage. So and the shame is, like, the Rick and Morty stage, when I'm offline, I love this stage. I like the way the stage is laid out.
Yeah.
I like the music. The
It's
music
just
is very
frustrating.
exciting. It's the only stage, though, that will get you in copyright trouble. It's the only one.
Yeah.
It's the only one. But I can imagine that Crystal Lake is probably going to have a variation of a Friday the 13th theme.
Oh, no.
And if it does, that's going to be a copyright nightmare, just like the other stuff. So we'll probably have to turn the music off. But Crystal Lake is coming. The Teen Titans Tower is coming.
Yeah.
And the Warner Tower, like from Animaniacs, is coming into this game.
Yeah, it's like the Rick and Morty theme song goes perfectly with the stage. You wouldn't really put a different music to it. And it's like playing the old Lego Star Wars and Lego Batman games. Every time we play those, we get copyright. But if you would actually change the music from Michael Keaton, or actually Shirley Walker's, wait, what is it? Oh, just Michael Keaton, the Batman in '89 soundtrack. I'm sorry, Danny Elfman. Or if you change it from the original Star Wars, it just wouldn't. The games wouldn't be the same without it.
Don't get me wrong. This detective showdown to find Stripe is all in good fun, Velma. But I also don't like to lose. How much was the Joker skin?
At least $10. It was like 20.
It might have been 20.
I think it was $20.
Because Joker you could have unlocked using fighter money, which you don't have to spend money for. You can just unlock it playing the game. There was a bundle that had a Joker skin, Charming Joker, Joker character, 1,000 Gleamium, and it had some other things. I think it had fighter currency in there. So that was $20, and that was available when you booted up the system. The Joker Who Laughs, or Batman Who Laughs skin, is part of the prestige aspect of the multiverse, and I believe the skin was $20. Or it was $20 to get prestige points, and then because of that, we were able to get 2 prestige skins. Harley Quinn Beach and Batman Who Laughs. And we have a little bit of prestige points left. But yeah, it's a you have to buy the prestige stuff.
Yeah, Huey Freeman says it is $20. Yes.
Yeah.
21 or so says Game Wing.
But it's not 21 for just the Joker. You have to buy the prestige points,
Oh.
and then those points, you get like 2,000 prestige points or something like that, and you can get 2 skins. We were able to get Joker, and we were able to get the Harley skin before we were out of prestige points. So we got 2 skins for $20. That's a little steep, but I mean, it's basically the same as Fortnite, kind of, a little bit.
I mean,
Maybe it's a little cheaper. I don't know.
Marissa, it's always supposedly Mark Hamill's last performance.
It's always Mark Hamill's last performance.
Every performance in the past 8 years has been his last performance.
I can round off every time he said it. Okay, here we go. So, Mark Hamill said he quit after Arkham Asylum. There was a new Batman cartoon that was in development. He said no, let somebody else younger do it. He said no to Batman Under the Red Hood. He said, I don't want to play Joker anymore. Let someone else do it. I want to focus on other roles. He started to do more sci-fi stuff. So that's 3. Then he came back for Arkham City. He said, there's no way I can top this performance. I am retiring as the Joker. This was in 2011. That's 4. There was another Batman movie project that came up. He said no again. He wasn't coming back. Then the Killing Joke movie came out, and he was like, yes, I'm coming back for the Killing Joke. This is going to be my last time playing the Joker. Then after that, so that's 5. Number 6 was Arkham Knight came out, and Mark Hamill was like, when they said, we can't believe you came back because you said you retired again. And Mark is like, well, this is the absolute last time because I came back as a personification of Bruce's fear in his head. This is number 6, okay? Number 7, Justice League Action. After he announced at the end of Arkham Knight, he said with Justice League Action, yes, there's going to be a Joker in the show. I am not playing him. I am retired. What happened? Mark Hamill came back and played the Joker again. He does it all the time. It's almost like a PR stunt.
It's always his last performance.
It is always his last performance.
It will be
And
his
then
last
it's not.
performance until 2.5 years later, and then it will be his last performance again.
Right now, he's using, unfortunately, the passing of Kevin Conroy as a reason, but that's not a guarantee that he won't do it again. I would be nice if he actually is sticking to his guns and he's like, okay, I'm done, but he'll probably come back again. It's his favorite role. But he's done it at least 8, 9, 10 times over the past, not even decade. Yeah, decade. About 14 years. He always says he's quitting.
He's retired so many times.
Let somebody else younger do it. I'm getting too old. I'm not coming back. Justice League Action, Arkham Knight, Arkham City, Arkham Mobile. He came back for the mobile game, which he wasn't going to do. He wasn't going to come back and do more DC Universe Online. He did. He's always saying he was retiring from the role because he's afraid of getting typecast like he did with Luke Skywalker. I think that's one of the main reasons why he does that. Even though Joker is one of his favorite roles. It is his definitive role.
So true, says Ranger 49.
But when I made fun of him when he said he's coming back for the last time, it's like, I don't believe him. And then I went on Twitter and I said all the different times that I took from interviews that he's done that you can look up. Type Mark Hamill retires as a Joker and you'll see articles going back 14 years for different things. Justice League Action, Batman, he came back for 2 Batman movies. The only one that he did not come back and reprise the role of the Joker, there's 2 movies, and he adamantly said I was retired at the point. He did not come back and play Joker in Batman Assault on Arkham. They got Troy Baker to play the Joker because Mark was quote-unquote retired then. And he didn't come back and play the Joker in a couple Direct-to movies. He was not going to play Joker in Lego DC Supervillains. He found out Kevin was involved, and then he came back because he thought Troy Baker was the Batman for the Lego Batman thing. And he was like, they have their own Joker in Lego Batman. But then he's like, oh, Kevin's in it. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. So he, got himself into the Lego DC Supervillains thing.
Wow, Stripe's tail goes right through the strange void of targets, platforms, and, well, ghosts, naturally. Watch your step. Jinkies!
Yeah, I mean, well, he is the Joker. Like, Mark Hamill's definitive role outside of Luke Skywalker is the Joker. He has 2 legendary roles. Luke Skywalker, Joker. Like, some of the most popular, fictional characters in existence. And he's played both of them. And not only has he played both of them, but he's renowned as playing both of them. Like, they're some of his best work, as well as they've made the characters cooler. Joker was kind of cool when Jack Nicholson did him. But there was just something about the animated Joker that made it even better. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Oh no! Hey, look, it's the original title theme. Oops. Whoopsies. I gotta do that again. But yeah, I'm not ragging on Mark. It's just like, I don't believe him when he says, I'm done playing the role.
You can't really...
Fool me once.
I mean, the question was in the chat, like, is this his last role? It's like, well, it's always his last role.
Doubt.
There's no way. I kind of wonder if he gets paid more than other voice actors to do his role, because it's interesting that Kevin Conroy always took every job he could, whereas Mark was super picky. Maybe Mark had more money to throw around.
Of course he does. He's got a Star Wars royalties.
Yeah, so that makes sense why he could easily pick and choose, whereas, like Kevin Conroy was taking every role.
The thing is, Kevin always got the Batman roles because of, like, how much the fans loved him. And also, the people who were making Batman animated movies and video games, they grew up with him as their Batman. So, their first choice to play Batman in whatever video game or movie was being made was always Kevin. But that's why Kevin was, like, Batman in so many different things, is because the fans loved him so much and always got him work. That's why he was never too hesitant to do, like, a convention. He always wanted to give back to the fans because the fans gave him so much. They continued to give him work.
Yeah.
It was a big deal for Kevin. Whereas Mark is the Joker, definitely. He is basically the definitive Joker. I would say more so. Jack Nicholson threw open the door and changed things from Cesar Romero, but, like, Mark is the Joker. Like, that's next to Luke Skywalker. That's, like, his definitive role. Like, no one plays Joker better than him. Like, I would even argue that Heath Ledger wasn't as good as Mark Hamill.
Oh, I wouldn't even argue. Mark Hamill was the best Joker. I mean, I'm not trying. I mean, Heath Ledger was a great Joker in live action, but of all the Jokers that have been played of all time, Mark Hamill was the top, hands down.
Out of time.
Aw.
I mean, you couldn't even compare the two because, you know, Batman the Animated Series ran for so long. It was the definitive Batman show, whereas, you know, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises was just one trilogy of movies.
Actually, did you know that the reason why Batman the Animated Series became so popular is because of reruns? The show was a phenomenal hit when it came out, but it only lasted 3 seasons and then it went off the air. What made Batman the Animated Series such a cult classic in people's mind is because Cartoon Network resurrected the show. It came back for a different version of it, with the Batman Superman Adventures on Kids WB. But not a lot of people knew that the Kids WB had Batman the Animated Series because the animation was different. It was done by a different animation studio, like within Warner Brothers. It was still kind of the same team, but Kids WB did not have the budget that Fox had. So they had to completely change everything. They had to streamline everything. They had to go with the Superman animated series animation, which was much cheaper for them to mass produce, and they could do more with. But they actually had less episodes of both Superman and Batman's 4th season compared to the more stylized and very good animation of the animated series from 92 all the way until 96.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as... So what Cartoon Network did is when they added the show in reruns, based on the amount of ratings that they got, they were able to greenlight a brand new series called Justice League. So they brought Batman the Animated Series back and they put it on syndication on Cartoon Network before Toonami. Toonami ran 97.
The Justice League?
The Justice League show actually was a part of Toonami.
Oh, wow.
It was a Toonami show.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And that was based on, the fact where they were bringing Batman the Animated Series back.
It was the Batman Animated Series, Superman cast, and the new characters. Yeah.
I always thought that Justice League had the same kind of feel and tone as Batman the Animated Series.
The first season of Batman the Animated Series is where that tone... It was a mixture of art styles from Batman the Animated Series and Superman Animated Series.
Yeah.
That's what made Justice League... Because go back and look at Batman's costume. Even though his ears were enormous, which they did on purpose to distinguish it, look at his costume.
Right,
it has the blue. It has the blue and the black outlines again, like in the original 90s show.
So it is supposed to be I always felt like it was a successor to the Batman the Animated Series.
Now hang on. Batman. Are you sure we really need to be fighting like this? Yes, we need to be fighting like that.
I would argue that Heath Ledger's Joker was one version of Joker. Mm-hmm. Mark Hamill's Joker in Batman the Animated Series is the Joker.
It's definitive.
And Heath Ledger is a version of the Joker, but Mark Hamill is the actual Joker.
Yeah, but I actually... Because I got obsessed with looking at Toonami stuff because I found out, unfortunately, Moltar passed away. So the guy who was the first host of Toonami and who was on Space Ghost Coast to Coast, he passed away. And I didn't know this because I was watching old Toonami... bumpers and intros of shows like Robotech, and Gundam Wing, it's a Gundam. And I came across this thing where they said Moltar says goodbye, and then I found out that Moltar passed away. And then I went back and I was watching all these old Toonami bumpers from stuff. And it wasn't until either 1999 or 2000 that Batman the Animated Series came back in syndication.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like the original Batman animated
What
series.
year did it come into syndication again, you said?
1998 or 1999 on Cartoon Network.
Oh
And
my gosh,
maybe
that was when I saw it.
That's probably when you saw it. It was on Cartoon Network. And the ratings were through the roof. And then Batman, right before the Justice League show debuted, like a couple years before, Cartoon Network was worried about the show being so violent.
No, I didn't see it then because I would have been much older. I saw it when I was younger.
Okay. So anyway, Cartoon Network was worried about the violence of the show, and they were like, okay, we need to move this show to our Toonami block. So before, Batman ran for an hour after Toonami, like in 1999. You had the original 99 Toonami loadout was Sailor Moon, Robotech, Dragon Ball Z, and The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest or Thundercats was your 2-hour block of Toonami. Then after that, so Toonami ran from 4 until 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock was an hour of Batman the Animated Series, what Toonami called like their after action hour, and then it would lead into really goofy cartoons at 7 o'clock, like what cartoon or something like that. So then, because of, even though the ratings were through the roof, because you had the Toonami audience that was watching the 2-hour block of Toonami, then they migrated over to Batman at 6 o'clock, and then they stayed for cartoon or whatever. The show was still like, even though it was getting high ratings, it was getting complaints from people. So then the next year, in 2000, Batman the Animated Series was moved to Toonami as part of the Toonami block, and Toonami was expanded another hour. So now Toonami was 3 hours long. You had 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
And then during that year, like in 1999, at the end of 99 or whatever, that's when Toonami the Midnight Run started. Like, or Toonami the Saturday stuff.
Wow.
So it's because of Batman the Animated Series that Toonami like got like more and more ratings aside from their anime stuff. And that's why they started to incorporate shows that weren't anime, because originally Toonami was just showing anime. And then they started to incorporate other stuff into it.
Yeah. Well, of course, as you told me, in a way, Batman the Animated Series is anime. It was animated in Asia.
It was made in, yeah, exactly.
That's why the art style was so good.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't actually made. It wasn't animated by American animators. It was animated in Asia. So, I mean, in a broad sense, one of the reasons why it's so good is that it is anime.
Yeah.
I mean, they're using like a 40s style, but
Toonami was such a force to be reckoned with that it started as a 2-hour block, and then it became a 3-hour block, then it became a Saturday block, and then it became a midnight run block that ran from midnight until 4 in the morning almost every night. Like, Toonami was everywhere. And what people forget about the first midnight run of Toonami is they incorporated shows that were on the air on their 1997 and 1999 blocks. So they brought back shows like Robotech, Thundercats. They had The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, which I love that show. They had the Super Friends. They had the GoBots, and they had all kinds of stuff. And then, like, as the midnight run started to get more popular, because it was just kind of filler, then they started to do like, all right, now we're going to air uncut Robotech. Like, we're going to, the actual, like, you know, the stuff we had to cut because Robotech was kind of violent.
yeah.
So they, you know, would show blood, and they would have uncut Gundam Wing, uncut Dragon Ball, and things like that. But
Oh, wow. So they would have a different version of Dragon Ball earlier or something, or they used to.
And then they had, like, after the midnight run on Saturday, which was amazing. So Friday night, like, I think it was like 2000, 2001, I was always up really late, not just gaming, but also watching Toonami, the midnight run, because what they did is, Toonami was so popular one year that it had the midnight run, and then if you were lucky enough on Saturday, they had what was called the Rising Sun. So Toonami would go from the midnight run all the way until Saturday morning, called the Rising Sun. And they would have cartoons that were both running on Kids WB and Cartoon Network that was all anime. And it was called the Rising Sun block. And it was like more kid-appropriate anime. But it was, you know, it was awesome because it was like Toonami was basically on for like, if you think about it, because Toonami went from 4 to 6, then they took a little break, then they came back at midnight, and then they ran all the way from midnight until like 4 a.m., and then they came back at 5 a.m. with the Rising Sun that went until like 8 in the morning or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
they were like literally dominating Cartoon Network's, you know, thing, and they actually were cartoons. It wasn't the live action nonsense that they started doing later. So that's when I was watching Toonami, is when they had like this massive Toonami block. And what's really cool right now is this Friday, I believe, Toonami is actually coming back as a Friday afternoon block. Like, it is the first time in 10 years that Toonami is actually coming back to the afternoons.
What
this Friday.
was Batman the Animated Series on in about 1995, 1996?
That would have been on Fox.
That's when I saw it.
Yeah. Batman the Animated Series was one of the the top rated shows on Fox that were the highest ratings.
That's when I saw it.
Highest ratings on the weekdays was Batman the Animated Series, even on reruns. Power Rangers was the number one. And then you had occasionally was X-Men, but X-Men and Spider-Man tended to be on Saturdays. That's the highest rated show.
You might have seen Batman the Animated Series in the late 90s, Savan. Awesome.
I heard the Detective Showdown. Love it. Personally, I think you should both get trapped in here as I destroy the dimensional pathways with these lovely drones. Quick, defend the crystal.
Oh, thank you for the prayers, Tim. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
I would so... What would make me really happy besides Samurai Jack coming to the game? I really want Tom. I want Tom from Toonami as a playable character in Multiversus. That would be amazing for me.
Yeah.
Because I know Steve Bloom would do it. Like, he loves the character Tom. And of course, Steve voices a lot of like anime dubs.
So I saw it when it was on Fox. Then I must have, because I think I was in middle school or junior high when I saw it. Either that or I saw it a couple years before that, but I think it was about 1995.
Yeah, it was still on. It would have been
1995, 1996, something like that.
Batman the Animated Series went off the air on Fox in 1997.
Yeah.
It was replaced.
It would have been before 1987.
Well,
they
were running reruns. Like, the show finished in 1995. The end of 95 is when Batman the Animated Series was done. I don't believe they had any new episodes of that show. There was only 85 episodes. All the episodes aired. Like, they did all air. And they tried to rebrand the show called The Adventures of Batman and Robin in 1995 because they were like, oh, we need to have, people feel more comfortable when Robin's in the show. So the show got moved from the weekdays.
Yeah.
And it got moved to only Saturday because Robin didn't appear in every single episode, but they tried to rebrand it with episodes with Robin.
I remember seeing that. But I think I was actually watching before they rebranded it. So I must have been watching the show before they did that also, and then during when they rebranded it, because I remember watching the difference. I remember seeing that Adventures of Batman and Robin, their new thing. So I must have watched it before 1995 then.
Yep.
Interesting.
Harley.
Aw, you've ruined Mr. J's fun, Bat Brain.
Harley, we're trying to solve a mystery here.
Sure. You do that, but I'll be over here having a fan club meet with Mr. J. Ha ha.
Okay, so we have a couple options. And we can, of course, we're going to fight Rick and Morty real quick.
Yeah.
Because we can.
Okay, awesome, Savan. Alright, so Savan is a 90s kid. He said I was born in 1994, so I was born in the 90s. Awesome, Savan. So you probably would have seen it around the same year as I did, between 1995 and 1998. All those years when Batman the Animated Series was switching from Batman the Animated Series to Adventures of Batman and Robin, and then going to Toonami.
Yep.
Interesting. Yep. So that's really interesting. Very cool, Savan.
I was so happy to have Batman the Animated Series come back, like in 99 or 2000, that I watched the whole series over again when it was on Cartoon Network again. Well, and then when Toonami added it as part of their like block in 2000, like the Batman block, which was only a half hour then, like it ran for almost like 2 years. And they also got Batman Beyond. After Batman Beyond went off the air, they had new episodes of The Batman, which was the 2004 show. And they were also running the Justice League was at like 6 o'clock on Toonami, starting in 2001. So, I mean, people forget, both Teen Titans and Justice League were Toonami shows. Like, they both were shows that Toonami helped put on their programming block. It was Cartoon Network's action block. So that's where the 2003 Titan show and the 2001 Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, like 2006 show, they were all part of Cartoon Network / Toonami. And then in 2008, when Toonami went under, it came back in 2012 as an adult show.
The reason why I don't think I heard of it being on Toonami when I was older teenager, but I wouldn't have had time to watch it when it was on Toonami because I would have been doing my finals for high school, so I didn't have any time to watch it. But I had already watched it when I was younger, so yeah. But I had heard of it being on there, so yeah. I see. Thanks for explaining that. So,
No worries.
Zoinks! Looks like the trail leads into this infinite void full of platforms and targets. Good luck in there. Jinkies.
Break the target.
yeah, so yeah, 1999 counts as a 90s baby. Definitely Sammy.
Yep, it's a 90s baby because there were
So-
still 90s shows on syndication. A lot of 90s cartoons from 1997 were in syndication on Cartoon Network until at least 2002.
So that's cool that Savan and I actually both watched, and you also, and several people in the chat watched the Batman the Animated Series when it was actually on TV, when it came out
Yep.
on TV.
I
That's
watched
really
it before
cool.
and after I got cable. When I didn't have cable, I had to watch it with rabbit ears, and I had to rely on my grandma sending videotapes to watch because you couldn't really make out what was happening.
You're a 90s baby also, Anthony? Awesome. Very cool. So you watched it before and after? What
Before and after cable,
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
because I couldn't see. The TV was too fuzzy.
Oh, thank you, Later Gator. Appreciate that. And John Doe was saying earlier that...
I am simply the greatest potential you.
Yep, Roger Craig Smith is the Batman Who Laughs. Thank you,
Yes.
John Doe. Yeah, and he was saying that... that's so true that... Bryant says, so true, Kevin Conroy will always be Batman. Mm-hmm. That's a voice I hear when I read the comics, says Bryant.
Yep. Same. Careful, Doc. They tell me we're in some kind of trans-dimensional randomizer mode. Whatever the heck that means. I
Mark
can't do bugs.
Mark Hamill will be Joker again in the animated series in Crisis Part 3, says John Doe.
Let's get this started.
So he will be doing it. I'm getting close to the Robin skin for LeBron James, Luke, and Amber. I have 650 Gleamium and 800.
Wait, where's the Robin skin? I don't have it. See, I don't even have these skins listed because I
you
already have the...
Yeah, you have the Robin skin.
Yeah, I know that, but I just don't...
We have it from when we did it last time. Thundercats video game, where are you at, says Sammy.
You don't... There was a Thundercats game in 2011. You don't want it, Sammy.
Bryant says, oh my
bad.
gosh, Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. I love that show. I love the OG Johnny Quest show too. I liked WB Kids because of Crypto the Dogs' United Thrive.
Yep, WB Kids. The story with WB Kids is the executive that was at Fox Kids, because Fox was actually on their way of getting rid of their programming block. So the lady saw the writing on the wall, the lady behind Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, and Spider-Man, and Power Rangers, and all this other stuff that she took a gamble with, and she became like one of the most successful TV executives of all time. Like, she is like one of the most famous television executives and one of the most successful. She ran she got an offer from Warner Brothers, I think it was like 1994 or 1995, to head up their new kids television studio, Kids WB, and she ran with it, and she did Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, she did all kinds of stuff, and she was an amazing television executive. There's like so many hits on hit TV shows under her name. Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, Spider-Man. She did Freakazoid, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain. She did The Tick, I believe, on Fox. She greenlighted all the really weird shows, and for the most part, a lot of them were successful. But when Kids WB opened up and Fox was a drowning ship, because whatever reason, it was either 1995 or 1996, they started to slowly stop doing children's cartoons on national TV. And then cable was the one that you would go to watch cartoons, because I don't know why, but they did a lot of live action, like Saved by the Bell type shows, and then eventually that turned into courtroom dramas, and they just completely started to get rid of cartoons for kids on the weekends.
Yeah.
Because from like 1978 until either 97, 98 was children's programming, had cartoons on ABC, CBS, Fox, UPN, and WB. Like those were your networks that had, and sometimes NBC had a little bit of cartoons, but NBC was the first one to go live action. They went completely live action in like 1993. Then the other networks followed slowly. ABC was the last one, and then Disney bought them and then became Jetix. ABC was like the last one. The Fox box ran until, because like afternoon cartoons were gone by 2002, I think, and then the Fox box lived on Saturdays until like probably like 2006, 2007, right when we got married.
It was an end of an era because before then, like with Hanna-Barbera and stuff starting in the 80s, they pushed for better kids programming in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And because before then, like in the 1970s and stuff, there wasn't really anything positive on TV for kids or anyone really. Hanna-Barbera, like, they were like on a mission to get positive programming for kids. And they made all those shows. They made so many shows, just the one company. They hardly had any employees either. It was they were working around the clock.
We can't play this. It says you have to have a character that has a T-shirt.
We don't have
No,
one.
you have to have the character that has these stupid T-shirts in order to play this.
I'm saying like from like the 80s and then through the 90s until like about 2002, yeah, they had excellent children's programming on in the mornings. So it's very unfortunate that they I mean, I would almost say, like, that's what Hanna-Barbera's mission was. That's why even they said in the 80s, like, it was so important to have cartoons with a positive message because it was going to affect how kids grew up. And look at our state of our country and in a world today where everyone's depressed and hating each other. I mean, you might even say it is actually a side effect of a lack of children's programming.
Oh, yeah. I would argue with that.
It is possible that all these people angry at each other could be because there was no children's programming after 2000.
That's why Toonami coming back on the weekends, or at least they're getting one day right now. They're getting Friday. So, I mean, technically you could bring back the TGIF slogan of "Thank God It's Friday" because, you know, there's fun things to look forward to. You have to give children something to look forward to when they're going through all the grueling hours of school, like during the week. That's why Saturday morning was like a huge, like, you know, just kind of like a big boon for kids because, like, they had something to look forward to on the weekend. You know, once you got your homework done on Friday night, you had Saturday morning to watch cartoons. It was your day. Saturday was your day.
There's an excellent, like, Calvin and Hobbes comic strip that kind of shows how hard it is for kids. Like, it has... Well, I'll let you read it.
Yeah.
So,
like, I'm getting real tired of seeing Batman turn this into a stupid competition, man. If he won't calm down, I'll have to do something about it myself. Shaggy's gonna unleash his power.
Let's get this started.
Yeah, the government actually was the one that got rid of children's programming. I read about this. They were the ones that they stopped the funding for kids' TV, like on Saturdays, and then it was just companies that were cable, because cable is private. It's not like funded by the government. It's not like a... So when people
they
say...
took away the most important thing that was on TV.
Right, because they wanted to put other things on television, like they had court dramas, they had news shows, they had like sports stuff.
The government is never anyone's friend.
No.
No matter what side you're on.
No.
They're never here to help. They're always in it for their own interests. They're never... If we actually had government employees that cared about the state of people's mental health and the state of society and the state of uplifting society, then the world would be a better place. But we don't have anyone in the government like that. They're all in it for themselves.
Yeah. So
they don't care about anyone.
There's two reasons why the kids TV stuff disappeared by the early 2000s, like why the Fox box and Kids WB and all this other stuff disappeared. One is because they stopped getting funding because it was a national syndicated thing, like national television. Two, Cartoon Network became such a huge like ratings monster that kids were always tuning into Cartoon Network to watch, cartoons. Like it was the cartoon giant. And it wasn't just on Saturday that they were dominating in the ratings, like every day. Like no other programming block could keep up with Toonami. Toonami literally destroyed like national television, afternoon programming. They just couldn't do it. So they had to change their programming to appeal to people that were around at 4 and 6 o'clock that weren't kids. So then that's why you started to see more like adult-oriented programming. This would have been like around 2004, 2005 on Fox. They started having like more stuff in the afternoon. But Saturday was still a bastion for kids. But eventually they just kind of like the funding dried up. The executives had bad ideas. A lot of the shows that they tried to market to people just failed. So Cartoon Network dominated. And then Cartoon Network did something drastic with their programming, and they went under in 2008. Like, the Toonami block got completely destroyed because of a bad... They had some really bad shows that nobody were watching. Like, Naruto was a big hit for them, but Dragon Ball was no longer in syndication for them. And it was still... I think it was a while before Dragon Ball Z Kai got dubbed, but I don't remember. So they had Naruto, and they had a couple other shows that weren't really popular other than Naruto on Toonami. And Toonami just ended up, announcing that they were closing down. It was devastating. Because, Toonami had been around since 1997, and then it went off the air in, like, 2008 or something.
Is JJK Jujutsu Kaisen?
That's on Adult Swim, I believe.
No, are we continuing that anime game?
No.
No, it was too hard to get views on that, but thank you for watching that, Cyril.
No. The only anime game that's coming back is Sandland is on the weekends. So we did actually finish the other anime game we were doing, which I was so happy about. I enjoyed. Megaton was awesome. Megaton wrapped up. If they add additional story content, I'll be back doing Megaton. Sandland will get episodes on Saturday. And the crab game will probably Sunday night sometime if I'm not overwhelmed by new content. Those are basically filler series. I hate to say it, but that's basically what they are. They're filler series. A buzzsaw stripe must have come this way. Let's protect these crystals and then catch up to them.
But like the world was a very messed up place before the 80s, and one of the reasons why the 80s was so hopeful was because of Hanna-Barbera single-handedly giving hope to the whole generation because of the cartoons.
It was their idea to do an afternoon programming block before cartoons were only on Saturdays. In the 1980s, the people behind Hanna-Barbera and the people behind Filmation were the ones that took the gamble, and like there's this so untapped audience of people that when they come home from school they could be getting really cool shows to watch that we're gonna hide messaging in the storytelling that's gonna help kids like discern a lot of stuff, teach them not to talk to strangers, have that geared toward episodes, and do all kinds of stuff. They were on a mission.
I like a lot of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons even taught about like just right and wrong. Like you shouldn't lie, you shouldn't lie to your parents, you shouldn't be dishonest, you should be a good friend. Like you should make sure you tell the truth, and you should who to trust and stuff. It has like a lot of this stuff was really great life lessons. Like it's just they were definitely on a mission to help kids, and because they helped kids, they helped the whole generation be more uplifted.
Yep.
You can watch videos from the 80s and people are always smiling in them. It doesn't matter. People are always like, well, they're like, people didn't have as much stuff back then. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's not stuff that makes you happy. It's not stuff that makes you happy. It's whether your spirit is uplifted. If you have a good outlook on life.
That's really hard to do. That's really hard to do, that thing there. Alright, so Stripe.
Creepy
Oh!
Batman who laughs.
Oh, sorry. There he is. Grab him. Jinkies.
Easy, Stripe. Just hand over the gem.
No way! No, go away! Go away!
I love how they had a cutscene like that. I didn't know they were doing that. That's awesome.
Let's get this started.
That was really cool.
Jotaro says they taught us that every ghost is just a guy in a mask. Alright, they taught us some weird things, but there was some good stuff in there too.
If you were a kid in the 80s, He-Man, like the He-Man show, like it was filled with moral lessons, even in the writing. Like it wasn't just like He-Man says at the end, until next time. Like the entire episodes, all, what was it, like 300 episodes they did of that show? Every episode was crafted around a moral lesson. And they did it in a way that wasn't corny, it actually made sense. Like, there was an episode where somebody got kidnapped, and it revolved into, like, at the end of the episode, they were explaining, like, don't talk to people you don't know, and don't be so trusting, or, like, don't judge people based on their appearances. Like, there was an episode where a bee person was, like, you know, perceived as a bad guy, and he wasn't. At the end of the episode, He-Man was explaining that, you know, you can't, you know, be judgmental based on how people look and stuff like that. So, I mean, the entire show, if you really go back and you watch it now as an adult, you can see that the entirety of the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the original show, was cleverly written as a moral lesson about either stealing, learning to share, being not discriminative, like, you know, being wise with your money. There's all kinds of stuff. Like, these were instilled in us 80s kids every day, almost. Thundercats did it, He-Man did it, She-Ra. Ghostbusters not so much, because that was the late 80s. But let's see. Early 80s shows, not really. Like, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, not so much. Anything that had Filmation as a part of it. The people who started Hanna-Barbera and then broke off into their own thing later and did things like He-Man and She-Ra and other stuff. They're the ones responsible for all the moral lessons, and a lot of people followed suit with that. And that lasted until about, like, 1987. Even the first season of the Ninja Turtles was kind of crafted around, like, moral lessons, but it wasn't as obvious. You had to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
And you could see, okay, I kind of see where they're going with this. But He-Man was very, very adamant about it. Like, He-Man was written by Christians. I don't know if people knew that or not, but Filmation was a you know how, like, basically Factor 5 was, or not Factor 5, you know how Rare were the people, like, behind, like, Donkey Kong Country Returns and, or Donkey Kong Country and Diddy Kong Racing and stuff, and then they split off, and they stayed with Nintendo, and they became Retro Studios, and they became the holders of the Metroid franchise and then Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
So they're the stewards of that, and they're still kind of that company. So Hanna-Barbera was this big company in the 60s and 70s that did cartoons.
Yeah.
And then in the 1980s, a group of them, also Way Forward is a good example, Way Forward, and then Yacht Club Games. So Filmation was basically like the Yacht Club Games or the Retro Studios of Rare. And they split off from Filmation, or they split off from Hanna-Barbera,
All right.
and they dominated 80s television.
Oh, so it was the Filmation people that did it.
Yeah. And Filmation was run by a lot of Christian people that were part of Hanna-Barbera. Like,
Yeah, I watched a documentary on that. They did say that their faith was a part of why they kept doing it. They worked extremely hard with very few employees.
they also kind of like stiff-armed a lot of people in the Hollywood at the time to make sure that like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and a bunch of other shows that they didn't have a part of, but like they had all this influence. They really, I wouldn't say pressured, but they really instilled that it would be a good idea for these shows to have moral lessons at the end. Don't talk to strangers, don't do drugs, all this other stuff. And they were actually supported by the Reagan administration. So the Reagan administration had this huge like hold on like television in the 80s and 90s because they really believed that the kids were the future, and it's important to, you know, protect our kids as well as educate our kids.
I mean, kids are the future.
But educate them the right way. So
teach them moral lessons at the end.
Nancy
of
Reagan was a part of that organization. Like, so she, you know, just like, you know, not Laura Bush, Mrs. Bush was the one, plant a tree for your tomorrow, you know, all those weird, like, everyone plant a tree. Yeah. So there were times where the government actually did good things. They don't anymore, but they used to actually invest in kids and all this other stuff.
They try to make they've been trying to, like, I don't know what the government is doing now. The last people were trying
Saturday morning cartoons exist on Cartoon Network and Disney. They do not exist on syndicated or national television. You will not find them on ABC, Fox, UPN, WB. Most of the cartoons have moved to dedicated cartoon networks only. There's a new cartoon cable company that just released. I don't remember the name of it. I think it's called We Are Cartoon, and it has a lot of 80s, 90s, and 2000s cartoons, and the entire thing, just like what Cartoon Network used to be, is all cartoons. It's no live action stuff. So it will have a lot of cartoons from the 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah.
And that's going to be launching as a cable company. It's kind of like what Boomerang was. Boomerang was a place you could go to watch classic, like 60s, 70s, and 50s cartoons, like the Flintstones and things like that, only there.
Yeah.
And that was a spin-off of Cartoon Network, and Cartoon Network was a more contemporary 90s, 2000s anime. This new cartoon company that just started, Black Nerd Comedy was talking about it. I believe they released in the spring of 2024. I don't know what their cable company is, but they do classic cartoons from the 90s and the 80s, and some stuff from the 2000s. So
that's cool.
Yeah, you'll find
but
all kinds of different shows on there.
I hope that they get back to having cartoons in the morning that have moral lessons in the morning
That'll never happen.
On public television.
You would have to be a billionaire, and you'd have to find like some type of committee that you can get them to do that. You have to remember that Cartoons on Saturday was a mobilization of hundreds of talented individuals in the animation field from the 1970s and the 80s, and it took them a long time to get to where it was in the 80s, and then to see it all fall apart in the late 90s was devastating. But most of these people had retired, and they were on their deathbed anyway. They did everything they could for 20 years, or 25 years.
They inspired a whole generation of people, but also they didn't just inspire the 80s generation and 90s, but any kid that grows up afterwards that finds those cartoons and is inspired by them later.
But you have to remember,
like some kids watch those old cartoons and it really helps them.
What Hanna-Barbera's legacy was in Filmation, the people behind He-Man, what they wanted to do is they wanted to make an entire network dedicated to cartoons and dedicated to kids. And they succeeded with Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And Cartoon Network has changed over the years, but Cartoon Network has been on the air since 1995.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, so in a way they succeeded.
But Cartoon Network, Cartoon Network is kind of like half live action, half cartoons these days. And they only have certain cartoons on there, like Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go airs like 4 times a day. It's like their most popular show. They're going on like their 7th or 8th season. It's incredible. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they don't really have a lot of variety on Cartoon Network as much as they used to.
Yeah, but like those people, they inspired a generation. But unless people of this generation pick up where they left off and continue to try to make positive cartoons for kids, then it will die with them. So it is really up to people today to pick up that. Right.
That's why that new cartoon,
and do it again.
That new cartoon studio that just was created, that Black Nerd was talking about, that will have like all these like past cartoons for people to watch when Cartoon Network is doing their own thing, and that would be good, for Cartoon Network to have competition, because that'll force Cartoon Network to get better, which is probably why we got Toonami on Fridays now.
Yeah.
It's probably why.
Stripe no lose time, okay?
You lost it? Oh no!
What do you remember? Tell us.
Machete.
Machete? What the heck does that mean?
Not sure, but it sounds like a job for the Multiverse Best Detectives.
It's Jason.
And that the Jason one won't be for a while. So
how could you not know what a machete is, Velma? I thought you're supposed to be smart.
Yep. So we're gonna go back into the detective riff, guys. We're gonna play on a harder difficulty and bring somebody in. We're gonna invite some random person to play with us, and then Jason versus the Multiverse we'll be doing live in 4 days. 4 days. But we're going back in the detective rift. This entire stream is dedicated to the Batman Who Laughs, but we will be inviting one lucky viewer. I'm going to go into my section. I'm going to randomly invite somebody to come into the rifts with me, and we're going to do a harder difficulty. Yep. So 4 days will be the chapter 3,
I
Jason
mean,
versus the Multiverse.
I feel like now they try to push for kids to have healthier meals in school. Like, that's a huge thing. But I think what's more important than healthy meals would be healthy mind and what you're thinking about in the morning with moral lessons. That might even be more health important than, you know, eating good food in school. Eating good food is good, nutritious food, but, you know, as we've seen, like, with everything going on in society, like, we really do need positive things in the morning to think about. But yeah, I mean, healthy food is good too.
All right, so whoever this is, Gabriel, you are the lucky viewer who is in we're going into the rifts. So don't go anywhere, guys, because after the rifts, we will be playing online with the Banana Guard. So if you didn't get a chance to play and you want to play, the 10 o'clock stream will focus on that. So we're going back into the rifts. We have 2 players, and this should be interesting. So we're going to play on Experienced.
Oh my gosh.
Yes! To create a rift lobby, you need to leave your current lobby. Are you sure you want to leave the lobby? I don't want to leave my lobby. Lobby disbanded. Well, how do I bring somebody in with me? How do I bring someone in? Like, how do I do that?
So that's why the G.I. Joe then had those PSAs at the end, says B.J. Williams.
Yeah, that's why G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, and all those other people, you know, they were not threatened. See, the difference between, like, woke people today, how they, like, stiff-arm people and they threaten and they, you know, try to cancel you and do all this other stuff. When these other people, like, back in the day, like the Christian, like, television people, they would actually go and they would talk and they would say, this is what would benefit you. You know, you have this cartoon show because you like kids too. So they found some type of common ground, and they didn't, like, dictate their entire episode. Like, this entire episode has to be a moral lesson about this or that. It's like, at the end of the episode, like, G.I. Joe had nothing to do with what happened in the episode, and their PSA was completely different. They just did a PSA. They made tons of, like, PSAs that were tagged on at the end of the episode that had nothing to do with the writing of their episode.
Like, their episode would be about defeating Cobra, and then they'd be like, remember, don't talk to strangers.
Right. So that's why people make fun of the moral lessons from the 80s shows a little bit.
Because it was completely
right.
different than the theme of the episode.
Right. So the PSAs for He-Man all fell in line with that actual episode. It was kind of like a recap as well as, like, this is why you don't do this, kids. But G.I. Joe will have an episode about Cobra's Weather Dominator, and then you would have a PSA with, make sure you check your kids' candy for razors.
Oh my god!
You know, it was just so random. Or an episode about, like, Cobra Commander stealing something, and then you kids on the swing, and it's like, make sure that you play with other kids. It's like it was so random.
Yeah, make sure to share.
Yeah. But the thing is, at least they did a thing where, you know, they did this thing where you could they had moral lessons. So I don't understand. We're trying to enter the rift, but it keeps kicking people out of the rift. So how do you play online?
I thought you were
with
playing with Gabriel.
I was playing with somebody and they got kicked out. So
why did you accept an invite from somebody else?
Because I'm trying to play the rifts with people.
Wouldn't you just invite someone?
I don't know how to invite people once I'm in the rift.
Okay. Well, wouldn't you just
the game?
Invite?
I don't know how to do it. The game says that I can play with people in the rift. I don't know how to do that.
Where's the rift?
These are the rifts right here.
Okay, how do you enter a rift match?
I enter it like this.
Okay. Right.
Because they have a whole setup where they say I can invite people.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it, though.
Why are you playing with someone named Velma? Who's that? Is that Gabriel?
That's a bot.
Why are you playing with a bot? You need to enter as a 2-player, don't you?
Right. I told you I don't know how to do that. I said I'm playing only the rifts. And
Okay,
the rift
do you
says...
want to exit this?
No, because I have to do this first. The rift says, I'm just telling you, the rift says that you can play with a second person.
Right, so don't you want to exit this and try to do it with a second person?
But didn't you see every time I exit and enter the rift, it kicks people out of the lobby? So my question is, how do I do it? So you weren't paying attention then.
I am trying to pay attention.
Right, I'm trying to explain it to you that the rift says you can play online with people, but
Right.
I don't know how to do it because every time I go back into the rift, it kicks the person out that's in the lobby.
Who's in the... What do you mean?
I've invited 2 different people to come in the lobby.
Are they able to get in the rift? What if they can't get in? Maybe they don't have the requirements.
No, you have requirements to get in. Anyone can get into the rift that's unlocked.
No, maybe they don't have the characters unlocked.
No, that has nothing to do with that. The only rift that's locked is the Jason one. Everybody can play the Velma and the Joker one.
Alright, well, here's my feeling on it. I think you need to go back to the lobby screen and make your team, and then go as a team into the rift.
Okay, Later Gator just said, in the rift, press R3 on the rift menu.
Okay, thank you, Later Gator. Yeah, I mean...
See, this is very confusing.
Sounds like Kevin Conroy a little bit. I like X-Men because at its core it brought back the 90s, says then Joseph West, and it might be woke to some people. My personal opinion, the 90s were always that way. Yeah, I mean, like, in some ways they were always dealing with issues in the 80s and 90s, definitely Joseph West. But they didn't, like, in today's media, they just shove it down people's throat or try to be mean.
Today is militant,
whereas back then, they would just...
It was subtle.
They would just make just explain something.
There's a difference between...
Yeah, so I'd agree with that,
I'll explain the difference. So, in a cartoon show from the 90s that had, like, diverse characters, never once did the characters say their race or they say that they were a woman or a man over and over again. Whereas today, there's literally dialogue to reinforce how stupid people are, saying, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. I am better than you because I am a woman. I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman. And it's like literally written in the script where they're downplaying a man. That's woke. So in the original 90s shows, when you would have men and women working together, they were superheroes, and they never really announced their gender, ever. Other than if their name was like Superman or Wonder Woman. It was just they were there, they were a team, they were working together. That was the difference. So it showed in the 90s that different people could work together, but they didn't constantly announce and act like you're stupid.
Yeah, like, I feel like even like some, even in the... I was just thinking, like, in the 60s with, with Star Trek with Uhura and her being on the show, she didn't have to, like, explain she was a woman or African American. She just was there doing all the cool stuff on the ship, and it's kind of like show by doing instead of show by telling.
Exactly.
That's kind of what it was.
That's the difference.
In the decades before now. Like, I feel like you didn't need to explain what she was doing. Obviously, she was vital to the Starship Enterprise. You didn't need to explain it. Because Captain Kirk was always asking her what to do because she was doing some cool stuff over on her computer. So, I mean, it was, like, obvious she was awesome. So, yeah, it's like the shows... Yeah, exactly, Joseph and, Luke.
Here's a great indication,
It's like the shows back then, they...
Joseph, do you remember... I'll tell you the difference between woke and normal. Do you remember a great show in the 90s called The Pro Stars? Starring Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky. Do you remember that show? It was a show that, like, basically you had the three biggest sports stars in the world at that time had superpowers, and they were like kind of like a secret agent agency that kind of flew all over the world stopping problems, and they were called the Pro Stars, and they had the Pro Jet and had all this other stuff. Okay, so if a cartoon show today was made with those characters, every single one of those characters would announce their race, would announce some type of problem with whatever they're facing, and that would be the entire focal point of the show. Like, they would constantly be complaining about something. Whereas the Pro Stars, which a show was very diverse, and had, like, the actual actors, like, or the sports stars, Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky voicing the characters, I believe. Or at least they showed up in the PSAs or whatever. Like, none of them ever, like, talked about race or gender or politics or anything. Their job was to go around the world and save people using their awesome sports weaponry and jets and stuff like that.
He said, yes, I do.
Right. So, while people have always included people, and I would say, yes, in a technical term, stuff has always been diverse, like in 80s and 90s cartoons and stuff, it wasn't like ham over the head that you're stupid and over-explaining things. Like, today's people are stupid in entertainment. Like, they're always talking down to the audience and constantly reminding you, not just once, like hundreds of times in one episode. Like, and that's the entire thing that the character does. They become not only a tokenized version of themselves, but they become a stereotype. Like, what that person who's writing only knows how to write stereotypes. They don't actually know how to write characters. That'd be like if when Dwayne McDuffie, who was an amazing writer for Justice League, I've only heard a couple times Jon Stewart actually say the word "I'm black," and that had to do with something very horrific that happened in the story. But he was just, an ex-Marine who was a space policeman, and he fell in love with a Thanagarian. It was just Jon Stewart being Jon Stewart. He went to Detroit. He didn't talk about anything. It showed that Detroit was in bad shape, but he didn't harp on it the whole episode. That's the difference between yesterday's writing and today's writing. Today's writing is they over-focus on things, and then they get angry because they're basically like, when you try to explain something, the more and more you keep explaining it, the angrier and angrier you get. And these people are kind of narcissistic, and when they over-explain things, they get madder and madder and madder and madder, and then they take all that anger and they go on social media and they go on these tirades. Whereas before, talented people like Dwayne McDuffie would just show what the world looked like, show the characters in that world, and then have them go off on adventures. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to spend 15 minutes explaining why this is wrong or why this is, in our society. They could have added so much stuff that was happening in the world, like 9/11 and all the wars that we were going through, the war on drugs, any of that. None of that stuff ended up in the cartoon shows or in the television shows at the time. What only happened in those shows was what was happening in that reality. So in the reality of the Justice League universe, they were dealing with the aftermath of the alien invasion. That's why they formed the Justice League. So that was kind of like a precursor of everything that happened. Is in the back of the Justice League and Earth's mind, the invasion that happened where the Earth was almost terraformed was a political talking point for that universe. Whereas nowadays, they can't shut up about everything that's happening in the world, and they toss it into the TV shows because it's just like a window into what is happening in their world, and they're too stupid to be able to write anything that's actually interacting with the characters of their fictional universe. They have to incorporate what is happening now into their fictional stuff because they're too dumb to actually write fictional problems that their characters could revolve around. That's what woke is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I also was thinking when you guys were talking about that, is I remember like older shows from the 70s and stuff like this, like where they would, or even the 80s and stuff, even live action shows where you had like a kid and another kid, and then they didn't like this other kid because of whatever reason, he was different or whatever, and they'd be like, I don't like you because you're different, and then like, and then like, somebody would explain to him like, well, something would happen in the story where he would realize he was wrong, and then even though that kid who was kind of, someone was mean to him because he was different, even though they were a jerk to him, they'd be like, the guy who was mean to him, he'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong about that, and then he'd be like, I guess you don't want to be my friend anymore, I was a total jerk. But I remember on the older shows, like, usually the kid who was being hurt or mistreated would be like, he'd be like, that's okay, you want to go get a popsicle? And then they would be friends. Even though the guy mistreated him, they would learn to be friends anyway because the guy forgave him. Whereas today's shows, I feel like, and how media does today, it's like, oh,
Let's get
like,
started.
if that same scenario happened, it'd be like, I don't like you because you're different. And in today's shows, it would be like, oh, really? You'd get a gang of people and beat the person up for saying that, and then you'd be like, I hope you die for saying that to me. Instead of teaching the person, hey, you shouldn't treat someone like that, and then you become friends. There's no resolution anymore there's no forgiveness. It's all like, you can't even teach someone to treat someone the right way. You can't even make a, because, if there's going to be, even though it's wrong, people mistreat each other and do the wrong thing. Sometimes, and it's hard, but eventually you have, it is a good thing eventually for people to be the better person and kind of forgive people and say, okay, you admitted you were wrong, and that's okay, we'll get a popsicle and we can be friends. You said you were sorry, that's all right. It's hard, but I mean back in my day, the resolution of most shows was to try that there would be an understanding.
Okay, let me.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you're kind of explaining things, but let me make this simpler for people because even I was getting a little lost there.
Okay.
So, here's a perfect example of why I'm anti-woke. Okay, let's take a very, very serious episode of Static Shock involving where a character shoots another character in school. That character's race is white. If that show was made today, the focus of the entire episode would not be about why the character did that, which the character was bullied. That episode is, like, it has two very big points. It has a cause and effect. The child was bullied constantly by another kid. And then that kid, because he couldn't deal with the bullying, even though Static and Richie tried to befriend him and tried to, be there to, let his high school experience not be bad, that kid still showed up with a gun to hurt people that hurt him. Now, today's world would say, well, the reason why he did that is because he's an angry white kid, which that is wrong. That is not the reason why he did what he did. The reason he did what he did is because he was being constantly bullied and, he had no other outlet. Like, he was in pain, and then he was going to cause pain to other people. There was a cause and effect. And even Static realized there was a cause and effect. He told that bully, don't mess with this kid because, this isn't right. He didn't do anything to you. And every day this bully would just keep picking on this kid over and over and over in the show. And the way that, I don't know if Dwayne McDuffie wrote it, somebody really intelligent was able to incorporate that episode, which was a very, very serious issue at the time, as well as it was done masterfully. Yeah. And the kid did go to jail. Like, there were repercussions. Like, even though he was in high school, he did get arrested at the end. They played sad music. Some kids did get hurt. But, the entire episode showed two things not to do. One, don't be a bully. And two, don't shoot up your school.
Right.
And
because you'll go to jail.
Right. It was a very somber episode, and it was handled masterfully. So that's why I believe it was probably Dwayne McDuffie who wrote it, because he was just, like, an amazing storyteller. But I don't remember who wrote it. But I know that episode was very, very serious.
I didn't see that episode.
And that episode was so serious that they talked about it on the nightly news. But
yeah, but I do wish that. Yeah, I think what you said is better than what I said.
Yeah. So nowadays, people only look for one thing and use that as an angle. Whereas in the 90s, we were smarter than today's people. And we wouldn't look at everything that actually added to what caused something. Because there's always, like, two things that make something go boom. There's two factors. In this case, in that story, it was bullying every single day. And even though Richie and, Static tried to befriend the kid and be like, hey, school's not so bad. We're going to hang out with our own little clique. We're kind of bullied too, so we can all get along, But they couldn't be there all the time because both Static and Richie were superheroes. So they were, teenage superheroes. They were leaving. And whenever their friend needed them, they weren't around. Yeah. So he didn't have that positive reinforcement that they were trying to do, because I don't think they realized that he was going to come to school and do that. It was kind of like, oh my gosh, like, even when I saw the episode the first time, I was like, I can't believe they did that.
Well, there's no way they would know what somebody else is going to do. I mean,
right, but they just, I thought the first time I saw the episode in the 90s that it was just going to be an episode about bullying. And then it was like a complete shock to me that the kid showed up and did that.
I mean, that's what's happening right now, though. That's happening all the time. I mean, not only kids are doing that, but adults are doing that now.
Yeah.
At, like,
FedEx and all kinds of stuff, yeah.
The gas station, at, like,
Burger King.
At not getting your order right at Burger King. People are being super violent, not even in school, but in... It's like people really need direction right now because it's just getting really out of hand.
Right.
Like,
that's why children's programming was important, is because it stopped a lot of this stuff. It showed people, hey, there's another way to do this. Nowadays, the only thing that you have people teaching you in school is about gender. It's not about, like, be a good person. It's not like learn to get along with somebody that's different with you. It's segregation. It's create, like, separation from people. You can't be friends with this person because they're white. Can't be friends with this person because they're black. It's causing division in school. And, like, these teachers all they're trying to do is just make, like, voters for, like, one political party.
Well, like,
that's all they're doing.
I was just thinking about something that happened in my baking class, and I was shocked the way that these girls treated this other girl in my baking class, and that kind of, like, shows how the world is today. Like, because one of the girls in my baking class, I believe she had a communication disability, And when she taught, either she had a community. I think I at first thought she was from a different country because I thought she had an accent. But then I found after talking to her a long time, she was from the United States. And I realized, oh my gosh, she has a communication disability. Like, she can't form words correctly. So I, in my baking class, there was like 20 girls. And, you know, a lot of them were wanting to go into the pastry industry. I'll try to do a very short story. But basically, she wasn't, she wasn't going...
Finally!
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Then I won't talk about
No,
it.
go. I finally
I'll
got
just
it.
say it real quick.
J-Cat's in our party.
She wasn't fast enough. She wasn't communicating with everyone the way they wanted to. And they all assumed that she had evil intent towards them and that she was just didn't care and she didn't care about them or anyone. When literally she was trying her best. She just couldn't communicate right. People with disabilities, they can't always communicate the same as everyone. And I was just shocked when I tried to stand up for her. I had everyone in my baking class turn against me. And, like, she didn't even apologize to us correctly. And they were all so mean. So I just feel like in today's world, it's like, instead of trying to come to an understanding or understand someone else who's different, people are just ready to cancel people. Like, oh, this person didn't act the right way to us, we're going to cancel them without even knowing, like you said in that episode, like, find out the reason why they were angry or why they came to school like that or why they're antisocial or whatever. Like, maybe trying to figure out, reach an understanding instead of just trying to cancel people right out.
Yeah, we live in what's known as the cancel era, unfortunately.
Whereas, any kind of conflict, instead of coming to a resolution, the goal is to make that conflict stronger and to try to make the person feel even more ostracized than they already are, to the point where they leave or something even worse happens. Because, we're all human beings.
Mm-hmm. So, I was just thinking, probably one of the reasons why people try to get us off the internet is because we kind of are that positive, wholesome thing for people to see in a very gloomy era. Like, on YouTube, we're like, there's no one else really like us.
I'm definitely, I'm just a person and, we're just people.
That's not what I'm saying.
But
I'm saying that when I was talking about the 80s and 90s stuff and how we created this thing, we are that. That's why we get attacked. I really believe that. It makes a lot of sense because a lot of these weirdos that go after us, like, not only are they insane, but...
They believe in cancel culture. They believe in...
Do not defend them.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they don't like us, is they believe in shaming people till... they even say, like, if somebody disagrees with them, they want to shame them until that person does something crazy or hurts themselves. That's what their goal is, to hurt people that they disagree with.
Hey guys, how do I get somebody out of a bubble when they're in the Save Me thing? I've never done that. I'm going to try again. We almost got him.
Yeah, I think you're correct. We have a different mentality because we're from the 80s.
Yeah.
We're in a time warp. We're from the 80s, so we don't think the way that people are thinking today.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's correct, Joseph. It was... They did always deal with issues even back then, but they just dealt with it a different way. I would say a more reasonable way back then.
Okay, so we're just waiting for J-Cat. Just attack it? You attack the bubble? That's it? Okay, I'll do that next time. You think you hit the bubble. You have to hit the bubble. Okay, I'll do that. Sorry, J-Cat. I agree, Stardust, but like I said, for everything there's a season, so the cancel culture stuff is starting to deplete. Like, they're starting to lose ground in Hollywood. They're losing ground in the game industry. They're only going to have their small little echo chambers. And the people that have been constantly pressuring us, whatever, when I catch them, they are going to jail. So one of the big things about this is going to be a huge blow to the head of cancel culture, because there is going to be serious repercussions, because I am going to ruin their lives. I am seeking the maximum prison sentence of 25 years. And I'm going to drag their families into it and sue them. So once I have them, once they get arrested, that's when it is game over for everyone involved. And it is going to not only make national news, but it is going to be people don't think there's repercussions for their actions. There is going to be a steep repercussion for them messing with us for 3 years, messing with my business. They think that there's no consequences for doing bad things. There is going to be consequences. And once there's consequences, less people will do it. If you enforce the small laws, then people respect the big ones. So I cannot wait until I get these people, because I've been waiting for years. And I am not letting off. I'm not stopping my lawsuit. I am not stopping my criminal charges against them. When I get them, and I will, they're done. And then that will be the end of cancel culture, because a lot of these weirdos on Twitter, a lot of these people on social media, they think they can get away with any of this stuff because they're not going to get caught. When these people get caught, it is going to be the happiest day of my career, because I am going to celebrate it big time. And I cannot wait. So that's what I'm excited about. And I'm not letting off. If I let off, then I'm no different than anybody else. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm fine. It's like, I'm doing it so other people get protected. That's why I'm doing it. Not only will I get my money back that they've literally cost me thousands of dollars over years. They've cost me people who show up to my streams. They're like, oh, I can't watch your stream because it's getting DDoS. I'm going to go somewhere else. So there was tons of things that they were doing to me over the span of so many years that their life's going to be over. And I'm never, ever stopping until I get them. That's the difference between me and other YouTubers and other people, is I believe that there are consequences as well as I'm justified to do them. It's not cancel culture, it's payback. It's revenge. So.
Okay. I mean, if they were just being mean in the comments and they weren't, flagging all our videos, hacking everything, and trying to destroy our income, then yeah, it'd be different.
Yeah. If they were just like leaving nasty comments, that'd be one thing, but they were actually hacking our business. And they still hack it from time to time, so.
They just did yesterday.
They just did yesterday, yep.
And I sent you the link to somebody that I know is on Reddit. I found one of their YouTube channels.
Excellent.
And I'm going to be searching, seeking, and destroying and finding, because I can figure out their YouTube channels, because some people are so dumb that...
Their username is the same as their Reddit ID. I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I'm able to find people really easily, especially, like, since I'm kind of like a master, like, I watch comments every day, so I can easily see, like, speech patterns and stuff like that. So, like, if somebody says something similar to somebody on Reddit, I'm able to really easily be able to tell who that is.
Yeah, but, I mean, I grew up with a big sense of justice because I watched a lot of stuff that, taught what right and wrong is. The problem nowadays is they don't teach right from wrong. They teach right and wrong is relative, whereas in the 80s and 90s, there was a clear depiction of what good and evil was. The people that are hacking me are evil. They need to go down. I am good. I don't do anything wrong to have that type of attacks being done to me. So they're committing evil acts, so justice, the hammer is going to fall on them because they are evil. It's that simple.
I mean, yeah, it's like...
They're evil, wicked people, and they're going to be defeated. They're the bad guys.
And it's like, I was just thinking, because growing up, my dad was a pastor, and I learned even as a little kid that, in my class there were people that I thought were weird or different, and my dad and going to church taught me to invite them to my party anyway and be their friend. It was my job to be friends with everyone. You're supposed to be kind to everyone, because, that's what, from a young age as a little girl, that's what they told me. Jesus said you should be kind to everyone. Treat everyone as your neighbor. Every human being, no matter what.
Of course, kindness is very important.
So that's why I find it very strange that people try to use my faith against me, saying I don't like certain people when literally from a young age, even when I was a little girl, people would be like, why did you invite her to your birthday? And it was like, because, you know, Jesus told me to, because I'm supposed to be friends with everyone. Because that's my job. It's my job to try to be kind to everyone. That's actually my job.
The difference is, though, we are at war with these people. They are not our friends, they are our enemies. Enemies need to be stomped out and destroyed. They've crossed the line over and over and over again. There's no forgiveness. There's repercussions now. We gave them an opportunity. I gave them a ceasefire opportunity a couple times. There's no more opportunities. And if they're a minor, then their family's getting involved. And their family will have to, you know, face the consequences.
Ani, it's out of our hands. They're already tracking them.
Oh, I know.
We
Once
can't,
once
even
the
if
police
we,
get a hold of them, it's over.
even if we wanted to help them, we can't.
Nope.
Literally, so it's not up to... It's really the police that are doing it.
Yep.
anyway.
I filed the police report. I talked to the DA. They're the ones hunting them. So
We can't.
it's out of my hands. Once I made that police report, you were finished. Whoever you are, you were finished. Because that's it.
They were finished the minute they committed the crime.
Well, of course, but you know, once you did the police thing, it was over.
Not bad, Batman.
So now we just wait.
Honey, okay, but we just had a nice discussion about
Uh-oh.
being kind.
I'm not a kind person. I'm kind to people who are kind to me. You're from the Midwest. I'm from the East Coast. We're two different people. So that's how I popped the balloon. I'm from a state where you are nice to people who are nice to you, and you leave people alone. You don't bother people. You're from a place in the Midwest where you're sweet and kind to anybody. You know, no matter what. There are certain reasons why people in the East Coast are nice to people. Like, people, one, leave us alone and don't interfere with us. You know, you don't... just like you don't walk in front of a New Yorker in New York City. You don't block their path. You know, these people are, quote-unquote, blocking my path, so they're my enemy. It's that simple. If they would have left me alone, then there'd be no problems. Because I'm actually going to lose resources going after them. You know, but I'm not stopping until I get them. Because they messed with me. You don't back down. That's why New York is tough. You don't mess with New York. That's the difference between me and a lot of these other YouTubers. They're very soft in California. You know, they're like, oh, okay, you know, whatever. They talk the talk. I don't talk. I do. That's the difference. So I'm not backing off. Ever. That's just how I am. That's how I always will be, too. You don't want to get run over? Don't walk in front of me.
Yeah, but the only reason why we would go after them is because they attacked us. They took first blood.
Exactly.
It's not because
Rambo analogy.
It's not because of any disagreement we have with them. It's because of what they did to us.
They committed a criminal act.
It's because they attacked us.
But we are at war. That's the thing.
Oh, I mean, I'm just doing my job. I don't know. I'm gonna leave. I don't know what you want me to say. But
Nice job.
I just want a video showing off Multiversus. I'm not at war. The police are at war against criminals. I'm not a policeman. I don't know.
Oops. J-Cat, do I have to save you? Oh, shoot.
Nice shot.
I will try to save you. I really wish they would have made, like, the, incorporating, other players into the Rift mode a little easier. Like, once you bring a character in a lobby, they should have just made it like that. Because bringing them into the Rift mode is kind of annoying. Like, you have to be in Rift mode and then you activate it that way. It's like, if they're already sitting in your lobby, they should be able to come right into your game. But it is what it is, I guess. Boom. Alright, thanks for the assist, J-Cat. We almost got him. I will say this, like the expert mode or whatever this is, it's actually pretty steep. But you get decent rewards from it, at least I think so. Of course, if I die again, then we're in trouble. Whoops. Now, it would be fun if you could actually do local play with Rift mode. If you could bring in somebody to play locally with you. That'd be kind of cool. Alright, there we go.
I would hope we had some laughs.
Thank you, Joseph. Okay. And we're going to go for a little bit more, guys, and then we're going to get to the banana stuff. The stream's actually doing pretty decent. But yeah, I really believe that if there was more focus on like actually instructing kids the right way, like, and giving them like a place for them to look forward to, like I said, on the weekends was what kids, basically school was work, right? You went to school, you did stuff, and then it was always nice to know that on the weekends was yours. Wasn't just homework, wasn't just hanging out with family. There was actually a place where you could go on Saturday morning, watch whatever cartoon, channel it was, whether ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS, doesn't matter. You would find somebody at your school on playground or whatever to be able to converse with and tell them, talk about your favorite episodes. Because this was before social media. This was before chat rooms. It was a way for you to, talk with other kids about things that interest you. And even today, it would be great because people, that's what the anime community is so great. The anime community is kind of like, if you think about it, it's like that old, 90s thing where people get together and they discuss their favorite shows. Crunchyroll especially is really that. Like, when a new show airs, there are people on social media, there are people on the Crunchyroll app, they're always talking about the episode, And it's a place for them to interact with each other and discuss, the episode that happened. They have that place of belonging. Whereas nowadays, you just have the teachers indoctrinating you in all kinds of weird philosophies, and they have no safe haven when they go home. Like, they have the YouTube, and YouTube is, you got the wholesome Kwings, and then you have whoever else is on the internet, which is going to be a variety of people that aren't going to be like us. We're weird. We're weird because we have a 1990s and 1980s mentality to treat people nice, and just, be good people as best you can, I don't go out of my way to insult people. I defend myself when I have to, but I'm not going out of my way to attack people. I don't even attack people on social media.
Let's get this started.
I don't believe in it. I do believe when someone commits a felony or somebody commits a crime against me that they're going down, but other than that, I don't actively create social media things. I don't make lists of people and all kinds of weird stuff. I just kind of keep my head down and I do the best I can. As long as people don't come after me, I don't go after them. That's my philosophy. It's the old, you mess with the bull, you get the horns type thing. That's an old saying for a reason. But I tend to let people live and let live. I don't make videos attacking people. I never have. Everything I've ever done is in self-defense, pretty much. Because I learned that when I took martial arts. My sensei told me, never rush into a fight. He says, the stuff that I'm teaching here is to save your life, and it's only supposed to be used, as a last resort. Do not instigate fights. I'm not teaching people to be bullies and rough kids up. If I find out you're bullying kids in school, I'm going to kick you out of my class. He was a good teacher, and those things that he taught us, they stuck with me all these years after I haven't been, I can't call myself a martial artist anymore because I don't train. I don't, actively learn stuff. I learned martial arts when I was a kid. I did jiu-jitsu, karate, and a little taekwondo. But I always used, if I got into fights with people, they started the fight and then I finished it. It was always in self-defense. Always, 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 always.
That was my end. Joke than I thought.
I freed you again. I got this whole bubble thing down.
I've got this.
Now, when you lose all your life as a bubble, how does that work? Do you take my lives, my stock as the player, or like what do guest characters do? I'm very curious about that. But I can see why Multiversus encourages you to bring a friend in with you, because like expert mode is actually pretty rough. You get better rewards though. And I'm sure there are people who can play expert mode by themselves. I'm not one of those people. I'm not very good at Multiversus. I don't claim to be. I have fun playing Multiversus, but I'm not a pro player. I'm not even a... I'd be like a casual Multiversus player, I think. So. No, I'm not God level Shaggy. Alright. We're good, people. Alright, guys and gals, we hit 1,000 views. Thank you so much for playing with me. We're going to take a little break, and then we'll be back at, I don't know. A little bit, we'll be playing as Banana Guard. Thank you guys so much for watching. We received a super chat, so that was great. I'm going to get... There will be a YouTube short up tonight. So... Or learn how to use the gems. Yeah, I'll do some stuff off camera. But thank you so much for watching, guys and gals. And I will see you on the banana level in a little bit. And the people who randomly jumped in the stream to hack me, I know who you are, and I'm coming for you. So, thanks. Every time you jump into my channel, Google keeps track of your IP address, just so you know. As does my security program. So, see you soon.